Hello everyone, welcome back to ADP Learning. Today in this video we are going to build an online banking system in C programming language. I have previously made the video on an ATM system in C programming language, so this will be an updated version of that part. So if you haven't watched that video, I will put the link in the description, so please go ahead and watch that video also and come back to see this video also. So without further ado, let's start. So I have used the Visual Studio Code for writing the code. If you want to follow along, then you can go ahead and download the Visual Studio Code from the code.visualstudio.com. So let's start. So I have already imported some header files in C, and I have also written the main function. So let me first define a structure. So the structure will define the user, okay, so the user of the bank. So you can simply define the structure by using the struct keyword. So struct user, and so I'm going to define some properties. So that will be the phone number of the user. So let me give the size of 50. The another will be the account number, so let me name it as AC. The another will be the password, so the password for online banking to log into the system, and the final one is the float, that is the balance. Okay, so this will be the balance of the user. Okay, so yeah, this is the structure. Now let me define the instance of the structure. So struct user and user. Okay, so this user is an instance of the structure user. Okay, now so let me first now show some message to the user. So you can simply do it by printf. So let me print the message, what do you want to do? Yeah, so then we are going to give the two options to the user. So one, register an account, and let me put this in the new line also, and the another option will be to log into the account. So login, sorry, it's in number 2. So yeah, so these two options will be provided for the user. Okay, so yeah, I have missed the semicolon here. Let me compile and run this. You can press F5 to compile and run. So yeah, it is showing register an account and log into account. Let me give an and here, so login to an account. Okay, so now we have to take the option from the user. So let me print the message here. Okay, so your choice, and for that let me define one variable in, that is options. Let me say opt, then we are going to scan that. So scanf %d and store it in the opt variable. Instead of the new line, let me give some horizontal tabs here. Okay, so the option will be stored in the opt. Okay, so let me check the if option is equals to 1. Okay, so if the user choose to register an account, so for register an account we are going to simply take some input from the user. Okay, so let me first clear the screen when the user press 1. Okay, so you can simply do it by giving some system command. So if you are using a Linux or Mac, then you can simply put it as clear, or if you are using the Windows, then you can use CLS instead of the clear. Okay, so this will clear the screen. Now so our first message will be enter your account number, and we are going to scan that and store it in the user.ac variable. Okay, and also we are going to give the message enter your phone number, and we are going to store it in the phone variable inside of this structure user. Okay, so user dot phone, and the final one is the password. So enter your new password, and we are going to again store that in the user dot password. Okay, and one thing, whenever the user register an account, so his initial balance will be 0, so you can simply use user dot balance is equals to 0. Okay, yeah, so yeah, let me go ahead and check after this if it is working or not. So let me press F5 to compile and run this. Yeah, so let me give my choice, that is 1 for registering an account. So yeah, enter account number, let me give some random number, and enter your phone number. Okay, so let me give the phone number and my password. Okay, yeah, so up to this it is working fine, right? Now let me remove this because this is printing an extra line for me because I already press and enter now. So what we are going to do is we are going to store this user in the file. Okay, so for that let me define a file pointer. Okay, so file fp, and let me define the another char that will be the file name char variable, so 50. Now what we are going to do is, so to simply store the structure in a file, we are going to use fwrite. Okay, but before that let me first give the name of the file. Okay, so what we are going to do is for each user we are going to use their phone number as the file name. Okay, so whenever we log into the account and perform some transaction, we can simply open the file of the corresponding user according to their phone number. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to copy, so strcpy to copy in the file name. So what we are going to copy, we are going to simply copy user dot phone. Okay, so what this do is it will simply copy the phone number in the file name. Okay, now we are going to open the file. Okay, so you can simply do it by using the fopen function. So fopen name of the file. Okay, so the name of the file will be phone number dot dat. Okay, so what we are going to do is this file name only consists the phone number, right? So we have to also open dot dat at the end of the phone number. Okay, so we are going to do that by using some string function of the C, and that is concatenation function of the C. Okay, and that function name is strcat. Okay, to concat the strings. Okay, so it's in file name. So what we are going to concat, we are going to concat dot dat, right? And then we are going to open this file in a write mode. Now we can simply use fwrite. So in the first argument will be the address of the structure. Okay, so ampersand user, we are going to store that user. And the second one will be the size of that structure. Okay, so that is struct user. The third one will be the number of instances that we are going to store in the file, and the last one is the file pointer, that is fp. Okay, and then if we are going to see if fwrite is not equals to 0, that is we have successfully returned the file, then we can simply print the message as account successfully registered. Okay, else what we can do is we can print the message as something went wrong, please try again. Okay, so I have missed the semicolon here. Now let me run this to see if it is working or not. So register an account, let me give some random number here as an account number, let me give the phone number as the random also. Okay, so 98 something this. Okay, and let me give the password as password itself, and if I hit enter, it is saying account successfully registered. Okay, let me see if the file is created or not. As you can see, the file is created as this phone number dot dat, that is we have successfully registered an account here. right? Let me do is, so yeah, let me give not anno, let me give the full thing so that this indentation here will be matched. Okay, so phone number, right? So let me again try this and register one new account. So let me give the account number and phone number. Okay, and let me give the password as password itself. You can see the account is successfully registered. If you can see here, you can see the two files have been recreated, right? Okay, so our first option is successfully created, right? Now, so if the user chooses the option 2, that is if the user want to log into his account and perform some transaction. Okay, so let me first clear this screen, right? And then, so if the user presses the 2, then we are going to take some input from the user. Okay, so that input will be the phone number of the user and the password of the user. Okay, and we are going to extract that information from that file of the user, and then we are going to compare if the password matched or not. If the password is matched, then we are going to redirect the user to perform certain transaction. Okay, so let me print the message. Okay, so phone number, okay, let's see, and we are going to scan this. Okay, so let me define one variable here. So the phone number will be, so phone number, okay, so phone and 50. Also let me define the for the password. Okay, so yeah, this will be the password for the password. Okay, so scanf, and we are going to store it in the phone variable that we previously just now defined. Okay, and printf, so another will be the password. Okay, and let me scan that and store it in that keyword variable. Now, so okay, so what I have forgotten to do here is, so I have opened the file, I have written the file, but I didn't close the file. Okay, so let me close that file. So f close. Okay, so this will close the file. Okay, now, so I am going to go ahead and open the file again. Okay, so fp will be equals to fopen, and the file name of course will be this phone number. Okay, so let me again use that strcpy, and in the file name I am going to store that phone variable. Okay, and I am going to now open the file by concatenating .dat at the end of that file name. Okay, so file name I am going to concat .dat. Okay, and I am going to open that in the read mode. Okay, so and yeah, so I have opened the file. Now what I have to do is I have to read that file content. Okay, so you can simply do it by using fread, and we are going to store it in the again this user. Okay, so we are going to store it in the this user itself. So user size of struct user, right, and 1 and fp. Okay, so what we'll do this will do is it will read the content of the file name and store it in this user usr your user. Okay, and we are going to again close that file. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to check if not str cmp. Okay, so we are going to compare the password and user dot password, right? So if it match, then we are going to print password matched, else what we are going to print is invalid password. Okay, let me go ahead and check this if it is working or not. So I want to log in to an account. So the phone number, let me check it. So it's 12345 okay, and the password is here. So it is showing me password match, right? So let me rerun this and log into an account. So let me give the same number here, 12345 and let me give the some random password. It is saying invalid password, right? So this logic is working now. So what we are also going to do is, so if fp equals to null, okay, then we are going to print account number not registered. Okay, so if that file, this fp is null, that is it doesn't find any file name corresponding to this file name, then it will give the null, and if this file is null, then it is obvious that the account number is not registered. So here we have to place the else statement, okay, because so if the fp is equals to null, then it will print this account number not registered only if this is in the else block. Okay, so let me run this and check it if it is working. Now log into an account, give some random phone number and give some random password. Now it is showing account number not registered. Okay, now so what we are going to do is, we are going to show some transactions options here to the user. Okay, first of all, so let me use the while loop. Okay, so while, before that let me define one variable, char variable, character variable, so char continue. Okay, and let me assign it the y. Okay, and we are going to use the loop again until the continue flag is equals to y. Okay, we are going to first clear the system out. Sorry, not the system, it's the screen. Okay, the system clear, and we are going to show some of the options to the user. Okay, so press 1 to check balance, printf, press 2 to deposit an amount, press 3 to withdraw, and press 4 to change the password. Okay, so we are also going to give the functionality to the user to change his or her password. Okay, so let me check this out. So I am going to log into an account, and let me check the phone number again. So 12345 and 47, and the password is password itself. So okay, so yeah, it is blinking because I have used the while loop here. Okay, so let me first break this. Okay, so I have also missed one option here. So the option 4 will be to transfer the balance. Okay, and the option 5 will be to change the password. Okay, at the end we are also going to ask if whether the user want to continue the transaction or not. Okay, let me ask, do you want to continue the transactions? Okay, and give the two options, y and. So y for yes and for no. Okay, and we are going to scan this and store it in the that continue flag. Okay, so let me check it. So the password is password. Okay, so press 1 to check the balance, press 2 to deposit amount, press 3 to withdraw, press 4 to transfer the balance, and press 5 to change the password. So do you want to comment yes? Okay, and if I press no, then it goes outside of the loop. Okay, now so instead of using press 1 to check the balance, let me use some better option. Okay, so let me say it as balance inquiry for depositing cash, press 3 for cash withdrawal, and press 4 for online transfer, and press 5 for password change. Okay, and right, so let me define the another variable here. So int, and this is going to be choice. Okay, to track what the user choose for performing the transaction. Okay, so printf your choice /t, and we are going to scan this, %d, and store it in the choice variable. Okay, so now we are going to use the switch statement. So switch, we are going to switch the choice, and we are going to give a different case. Okay, so case 1, so the case 1 is for checking the balance. Okay, so if the user press the 1, then we are going to simply show the user the balance. Okay, so printf /n your current balance is rupees, the %2f, so and it is stored in the user dot balance. Okay, so let me check this. Logging to an account, password is password, so let me press 1. So your current balance is 0.00, right? Do you want to continue transaction? If I press yes, then it is going to show me the option again, and let me again do this and press. So yeah, it is working, and we are going to break this thing here. Okay, so and the case 2 is for depositing the cash, right? So printf enter the amount. Okay, and we are going to scan this and store it in the user dot balance, right? So we are going to take the amount from the user input, and then we are going to store it in the user dot balance, right? Okay, so before that we are going to add that to the balance, right? So yes, yeah, for this I think I have to use the another variable, so float amount. Okay, and we are not going to directly store it here, we are going to store it in the that amount variable, right? And we are going to add to the current balance of the user. Okay, and then now we want to store it in the file or save it in the file. Okay, so for first open the file, and the file that is the file name. So in this case we are not going to concat.dat because it is already concatenated. Okay, so here in this the strcat, this concatenation function have already concatenate .dat to the file name, right? So we are not going to concat that again. Okay, otherwise it will be certain number .dat and .dat again. Okay, so we are going to open that, and we are going to open it in the read. Okay, before this let me see if I have closed the file or not. Yeah, I have closed the file here, so yeah, I can open it again. So ft is equals to f open, and now we are going to write it. Okay, so percent user size of struct user, one instance fp, and we are going to close that file again. What we are going to do is we are going to say if fwrite is not equals to null, then we are going to simply print successfully deposit this. Okay, successfully deposited, and we are going to show it in the new line. Okay, so I have made a mistake here, so it's not in read mode. We are going to open this in the write mode. Okay, so we are simply writing to the file, and also I have missed an ampersand here. Okay, now let me check it if it is now working or not. So I am going to log into an account. So depositing the cash, let me say 5,000. Yeah, so it is showing successfully deposited. Okay, so if I press yes and let me inquire the balance, then it is showing your current balance is 5,000, right? So it is now working. So yeah, now it's done for the option 3. Okay, so before that let me break this case, and now case 3, that is if the user chooses to withdraw the cash. Okay, so for that we are simply going to copy this thing out. Okay, so it is everything is same except we are going to reduce the balance. We are going to say you have withdrawn rupees this, and it is the amount, right? Okay, right, so let me check this out. Log into an account, so the phone number is so before that let me first inquire the balance. Okay, so it is showing me 5,000, right? So what we have stored in the file is persistent, right? So I want to continue the transaction, so I want to withdraw the cash. Let me say the amount is 2,000. It is showing me you have withdrawn rupees 2,000. I want to continue the transaction and inquire the balance. Now it is showing me 3,000. Okay, so this is working, right? Okay, so do you want to continue the transaction? No. Okay, so now it's done for case 4, that is for performing an online transaction. So for that we are going to take the 2 input from the user, that is the account number or a phone number where the balance is to be transferred, and the amount that is to be transferred. Okay, so let me print the message as please enter the phone number to transfer the balance. Okay, and we are going to store it in the phone variable, right? So we have already defined the phone variable here, as you can see here, we have already defined this phone variable. Okay, so yeah, so phone and printf please enter the amount to transfer, right? And we are going to store it in that amount variable. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to first check if this the amount that he or she wants to transfer is available in his account or not. Okay, so we are going to check if the amount is greater than user dot balance, right? Then we are going to simply printf or insufficient balance. Okay, let me see. Now it is showing some error here. Okay, let me check what's the problem. So I have missed this inverted comma here. Yeah, so printf insufficient balance. So else what we are going to do is we are going to transfer that balance. Okay, so to transfer the balance, what you are going to do is we are going to update our file name. So the file name will be this phone. Okay, and we are going to open the file. So f open, the same previous logic here, right? But this time we are going to open the file of the account where the balance is to be transferred. Okay, so we are going to open that in the write mode. Okay, and we are going to read. And okay, so for that I am going to use the another variable. Okay, another structure instance. So let me say is user1. Okay, so we are going to sort it in user1. Okay, the size of now we are not going to close the file now, we are going to close it later. So yeah, we have opened the file and we have also read the that file. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to simply update the balance. Okay, so plus equals to the amount. Okay, so we are going to update the balance of this user by the amount that we have taken as an input here. Okay, this should be in the read mode first. Okay, so we are going to open it first in the read mode. Okay, because we have to read this out thing, right? So and we are going to close this now. So f close, fp, and we are again going to open it in the write mode. So file name, and we are going to open it in the write mode. Okay, and what we are going to do is we are going to write that. Okay, so okay, and we are going to close that again. Okay, so what we have done is, so we have updated our file name and we have opened that file in the read mode, and we have read the user from that file name. And what we have done is we have added the amount that the user have given and add to that the balance of the new user, and we have written that in that file of the corresponding user, and we have closed the file. Okay, so before closing the file, what we have to do is if fwrite is not equals to null, right? That means our transfer has been successfully done. Okay, so if our successfully done, then we have to print the message you have successfully transferred rupees to. Okay, so that is the amount and the phone. Okay, we have to deduct that amount from the user, that the user who is transferring that balance. Okay, so we are going to open the file. So f open, and we are going to store it in the that user, right? And that's the size of struct user one instance, and file pointer is fp. Okay, so what we are going to do is first we have to update the balance of that user, that we have to reduce that amount, and what we have to do is we have to write it in that file. Okay, so fwrite, instead of writing, let me copy this thing. So Ctrl C and Ctrl V. It's not user1, it's user. I think showing something is mistaken here. I have right the mistake here. So F open, we are going to open. Okay, so before that we have to do is we have to again update our file name. Okay, so yeah, so strcpy file name, but not the phone. We are going to copy that phone of the user. Okay, and we are going to open the file name dot that, and we are going to open this in the write mode. Okay, so F write, and we are going to close that file pointer again. I think this else. So let me first deposit some balance. Let me say 10,000. I want to perform a transaction, acquire the balance. Okay, it's 13,000. So let me transfer 3,000 to the another user. Okay, so I want to perform a transaction. So for online transaction, so enter the phone number to transfer the balance. Okay, so let me check the phone number. It's 9844445454 and 54. Okay, so let me enter the amount to be transferred, that is 3,000. Okay, so it is showing me you have successfully transferred rupees 3,000 to 9844, this one. Okay, so I want to continue the transaction. Yes, and I want to inquire the balance. As you can see, it is showing 10,000. Okay, so 3,000 has been deducted. Okay, I don't want to perform another transaction, so let me again rerun this and log into the account of this new user. That is, the phone number is 9844454554. Okay, the password is password, and let me inquire the balance, and you can see the balance is showing as 3,000. Okay, so our code is running perfectly fine, right? We also want to check that if the given the phone number is registered or not. Okay, so if the FP is returning, file pointer is returning null, printf. So what we are going to do is write the message phone number not registered. Okay, and we are going to return from here. Okay, so let me check if it is working. So log into an account, let me give the phone number. Okay, so let me do an online transaction. Let me give some random number and give some amount. Insufficient balance. So it is checking this logic first. Okay, so let me refactor this code first. So it should not be here. So what I have to do is, let me write this here. So if FP is giving null, so we are going to simply print account number not registered. Okay, else. Okay, so I have to copy things up to here and place that inside this block. I have to cut this thing out here and paste this here. Okay, yeah, now I think it will work. Okay, so log into an account. Online transfer. So the number is 9844454554, and let me give the amount 5,000. Yeah, now it is working. Yeah, you have successfully transferred rupees 5,000 to this number. Okay, yes, I want to continue transaction and inquire the balance. The current balance is 5,000. Okay, now yes, this is working perfectly fine. Okay, let me again go ahead and check the balance of that user. So so let me inquire the balance. It is showing 8,000, right? So the 3,000 was previously transferred, and just now we have transferred another 5,000. Yes, so the 5,000 plus 3,000 is 8,000. Now it is working. Okay, so yeah, the case 4 is also working. So now we have to break this thing out here, the case 5, And finally our case 6. So the case 6 is to change the password, right? So let me give the message as please enter your new password. Okay, we are going to scan this and store it in the pivot variable that we have already defined. Okay, and what we are going to do is we are going to open the file first, so that the file name is in file name, right? And we are going to open this in the write mode. Okay, and what we are going to do now is we are going to simply copy inside user.password this new password. Okay, and we are going to show the message as password successfully changed, but before that we want to write this to the file. Okay, so F-write, let me go ahead and copy this thing and paste it out here. Okay, so yeah, and if F-write is not equals to null, then it will show printf the password successfully changed. This should be inside this bracket, okay, because it should be inside the switch statement. It is not case 6, it's case 5, right? Let me run this. So yeah, now it is working. So let me give the new password. It is showing password successfully changed. Now let me go ahead and test this. Okay, so log into an account. So let me first give the old password. Okay, that is the password. It is saying invalid password, right? Because our password is already changed. And if I log into an account and give the new password, now it is working, right? So the password change is also successfully done. We have to break this thing, and for the default option, what we are going to do is we are going to print as invalid option. Okay, so if the user presses anything beside the option from 1 to 5, then it will show it as invalid option. Okay, and let me also show one message here. Steve, so welcome, and we are going to store the phone number. Okay, so welcome present as, and it is stored in the phone, or you can simply use user.phone. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, so let me first stop this and run this. Okay, so log into an account. Okay, it is saying welcome, and it is also showing the phone number. Okay, so instead of giving the new line here, let me give it here. Okay, okay, now it is looking pretty decent here. Okay, so that's much it for this online banking system. If you have any doubt, then you can comment, and if you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe.